Clarity on Fire, a podcast for people who know what they don't want out of their life and career, but aren't sure what they'd rather be doing.
In a world where it's easy to exist, but hard to feel alive, we, Kristen
and Rachel,
two certified life and career coaches, are here to help you cut through the information overload, get unstuck, and focus not just on how you can have a career you're passionate about, but how to create a whole life that feels fulfilling.
So join us here, where we serve up inspiration and down-to-earth wisdom in a way that only two best friends can.
We want you to experience the relief of knowing that, yes, you're allowed to want more out of your life and career.
And no, you don't have to wander through the dark anymore. Our job is to light the fire that shows you the way. Let's go.
For those of you who didn't hear our Friday episode,
the Dear Rachel,
we announced a thing we're doing that we gave you no preamble for whatsoever. We just dropped it on the day. So you may not be aware that we are doing a 2-week promotion that started last Friday, which is...
Oh, I was going to say, this is like when Beyonce just releases an album and doesn't tell anyone she's doing it.
Okay, but she can get away with it.
Let's just say that we were trying to be like, Taylor Swift did that with Folklore this year. I was very grateful.
We can pretend to be at their level of notoriety. I think no one will be fooled.
I think there's at least one person who feels about us the way that I feel about Taylor Swift.
I hope there's just one would make me thrilled.
Yeah. I would like one person to feel about me the way I feel about Henry Cavill, but I'm not sure I'm ever going to get that.
I don't even know if that's healthy.
Yeah, maybe not. Like that might be like stalker. I have not stalked Henry Cavill, nor do I ever intend to. Just put that out there.
Unless virtual stalking counts and watching all the things he's in.
I mean, I've watched everything he's been in, basically, but no.
So with that said, we are pulling a Beyonce and releasing the album on the day of, or in this case, we're actually re-releasing our pandemic promotion that we did earlier in the year.
Okay. I finally figured out what to call it. At the end
of the year, after we've done it now twice.
Well, okay. So originally I was calling it I wasn't calling it. I was just like in the email, I would like have a heading at the bottom that said something like, I don't know, something in a time of pandemic or something.
Clarity.
Yes. I think it was clarity in a time of pandemic.
Yeah.
Well, that's not alliterative. So I started calling it clarity in a time of COVID.
Oh,
duh. But no. At the beginning, we weren't sure what we were calling it at the very beginning because we were calling it COVID. We were calling it Corona.
We didn't really have a name for it.
Now everyone just calls it COVID.
Yeah.
So it's clarity in a time of COVID.
Well, what missed opportunity?
Pretend like it was that the whole time.
Back in the summer.
Not that what it's called matters.
No, it does. No. What it is. Let's describe what it is. So
okay. It's an opportunity for you to save money and get a little bit of coaching, something.
Yes. So for those of you who have taken our quiz, but have not taken the follow-up course to the quiz, the Passion Profile Short Course, that is currently half off.
That's insane. It's already like $250.
It's already
a dumb low price.
Our cheapest offering. It's supposed to be kind of an intro to all, what we're all about, to some of our coaching philosophies, things that are going to help you.
To our coaching philosophies.
Oh,
well, bore them to death and then they'll buy it. Okay. Well, it also is it's supposed to help you get career direction in as little as one day. I hope that's less boring than our coaching philosophies. Wow.
I promise the course itself is not that boring.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's our course for half off. $75 for the course. Now that alone.
No, $125.
Yep.
Half of $250 is not $75.
Okay. This is where that number came from. If you...
Wow. Okay. Let's see how you can try to bring this back on track.
Yeah. If you can just get the course for $125. You can also sign up for a single coaching session, which is a rare thing that we do not have available all of the time.
We've only really done it this year because of COVID.
Correct. then that's $150. You could also bundle both of those things together, see? And then you get an additional $50 off. So it's kind of like getting the course for $75. Not a great. No,
it's
not
really not though like that.
But the total for both of them would be
even less than you could get the course for normally.
Correct.
Okay, I think you need to be quiet for a minute. And I'm going to sum this up.
You guys, I have not taken a math class since I was 18. So.
Neither have I. But I don't know, you're struggling today.
Give me some.
I'm going to go back and do this again to make sure everyone gets it.
Yes.
You can either do the short course for half off, which means $125 instead of $250. It's about 5 hours long. It's DIY. You can finish it in as little as one day, or you can spread it out. But it's meant to help you take what take your passion profile, delve a little bit more deeply into what it means and how to apply it to your career, and help you rule out options that you should not be wasting your time pursuing, and help you get a lot clearer around things, kind of like some of the basics around what you might be blocked around, and then honing a career and a direction based more on your values and how you're wired, aka your passion profile. You can also, separate and apart from that, just do a single coaching session with us for $150, which is something we don't offer hardly ever. It's a rare bird. So take advantage of that. And or you could bundle the two and save even more money.
Yep.
That's it. When you check out, you can add one or the other to the cart as an upgrade.
Yes. Which, by the way, kind of works. It works really well because if you bundle them, we ask you to work through at least most of the course first, and then we get to do a deep dive into that or anything else you want to talk about in a coaching session. So it ends up kind of expanding the experience of the course. So the bundle has worked really well for a lot of people. The last time we did it, we had a lot of people find
really great,
so much value in that in a very strange time.
A lot of great breakthroughs. And in a lot of those coaching sessions I had, whether they were bundled ones or whether it was just a one-off session, I've just been surprised at how much we've done with people in an hour.
Yes. Agreed. I really enjoyed them. And
which I normally am a little bit wary of, to be honest.
Of single sessions. Yeah.
Yeah, because you can't solve someone's whole life in an hour, nor do they really expect you to.
I feel like this year there's some pretty specific things that people want to get into.
Process, man.
And I also know a lot of people are re-examining their work. What they're doing for work going into 2021, whether because they have to, because of COVID, or because they've just had a lot more time to think this year and evaluate, and they're ready for some changes. I know I'm ready for some changes in 2021.
I'm definitely ready for changes. No expectations.
Expectations. So that feels like it could be really helpful for you to kick off a new year with something like this. That is available until Friday, December 18th.
Oh my God, you're about to say a different number wrong.
No, I know this one because it's the day after my birthday.
Yeah. Well, you almost said 20 something. So
yeah, I reined it in.
Friday the 18th.
You guys, I am not on my number game today.
She's not here. I don't know where she is. Okay.
So all that said, all of the links are in the episode description where you can find where to get more information on one or both of these things. And
well, also you can, if you are interested, you can also go to clarityonfire.com, go to the Work With Us tab, and pull up the short course page if you're particularly interested in that. But the one-on-one coaching, are we going to put that anywhere on our site, or is that just special linked in the podcast notes?
It's just special linked.
Okay. So you got to go to the podcast notes or email.
Or an email. Yeah. You're probably on our email list if you're listening to this.
Okay.
That was a long preamble.
It could have been shorter, but
rather short blog that I am bringing back from December 2018.
Wow, a whole nother universe ago.
And this is one where I had the idea of bringing this back, and then Rachel randomly thought about this blog last night before I told her I was going to bring this back. So confirmation that this is the one that we need to bring back.
Universe wants you to hear this.
And this is about why you should keep new ideas to yourself. So instead of telling you about it, I'm going to let you just listen. We're going to jump right in. Why you should keep new ideas to yourself. A client of mine, Jack, has been entrepreneurially minded for his whole life. He's an idea machine, and he's constantly coming up with cool business ideas. He can't help it. It's just how his brain works. Naturally, he'll get excited about a new idea and want to share it with people. As soon as inspiration hits, which is frequently, he'll text his brother or call his mom or tell the coworker on the other side of his cube. Their reactions aren't always what he'd hoped for. In fact, they're usually pretty discouraging. They'll ask a million questions about how it will work, questions he can't yet answer since he's still working the idea out in his mind, or they'll jump to all the reasons why it's risky or impractical or straight up impossible. Usually, after these deflating conversations, Jack will feel less enthusiastic about the idea, and often he'll end up abandoning it altogether. When Jack came to coaching, he told me he was afraid he's all ideas and no action. He was feeling like maybe he wasn't cut out to be an entrepreneur after all, since he couldn't seem to stick with an idea and make it a reality. Your problem, I told him, isn't that you have too many ideas, or you're flaky, or you lack follow-through, or anything like that. Your problem is just that you share your ideas too soon and with the wrong people. New ideas are like a flickering candle. Think of any new idea or inspiration you have as a small spark. I like to imagine them as a singular lit candle. A candle flame is easy to extinguish. A gust of wind or a breath of air can blow it out in an instant. And that's that. No more fire. The same is true of a brand new idea. It's fragile, vulnerable. A few pointed questions, a negative comment, or a judgmental eye roll can be enough to squash the idea before it even had a shot. Once a small spark grows into a bonfire, on the other hand, it's much harder to put out. Blowing on it doesn't make a difference. The wind actually makes it stronger. Even a bucket of water isn't enough to quell it. When you give your ideas time, energy, attention, and a safe space to grow, when you allow yourself to vision about them, do research, consider logistics, and get excited and motivated, then your candle flame starts turning into a bonfire. If you share your idea before it's a bonfire, however, you run the risk of having the spark stamped out before it ever had a chance to grow and flourish. Most people have good intentions, but bad advice. I don't want you to think I'm implying that the people in your life are purposefully trying to shut down your ideas. Most people don't mean to be Debbie Downers, blowing out your candle the moment you light it. They think they're being helpful, pointing out concerns and asking about logistics and voicing any skepticism they may have. Their intention is usually a loving, protective one. They want to look out for you and make sure you're making the quote-unquote right decision, based on their idea of what's right, of course. But they don't realize that what they're actually doing is shutting down possibilities and limiting you. It's up to you to recognize that your idea is still in its infancy stage and it needs protecting, not questioning. Their reaction is more about them than you. Also keep in mind that when other people have a strong reaction to your ideas, their response is nearly always about them, not you. For example, when Jack shares his latest business idea with his mom, she tends to get anxious and ask a million questions and point out all the potential risks. That's not because his idea is inherently anxiety-inducing or needlessly risky. It's just because she places a strong value on stability, so any form of risk feels threatening to her. Similarly, when Jack tells his brother about a new idea, he immediately voices all the reasons why it's outlandish and it won't work. But that's not because the idea is actually impractical. See, Jack's brother has also always wanted to run his own business, but assumed he couldn't make it work. So now he's projecting that same fear onto Jack. Their reactions have nothing to do with whether this idea is right for Jack, and everything to do with the fears and anxieties that the idea triggers within themselves. Again, it's not intentional. It's a normal, unconscious human reaction. But it can choke the life out of a potentially great idea before it ever had a chance to see the light of day. Keep your ideas to yourself at first.
That's why I think it's smart to keep your ideas to yourself for a little while, at least while they're brand new and most vulnerable. I get why you want to share new ideas. They're exciting. And naturally, you want to share that excitement with people in your life. But it can be equally exciting and way more productive to be a kind of incubator for your ideas. Vision about them. Play with the possibilities. Go down the rabbit hole of research. Imagine your idea becoming a reality. Think through how you would get started. In essence, create a safe space for your idea to grow. Fizzles out on its own, no big deal. But if it grows and gets more exciting as you nurture it, your idea might just turn into a raging bonfire, at which point negative feedback will barely be able to touch it. When and how to share your ideas with others. First, give yourself time to sit with your idea. I recommend not sharing it with anyone for at least 24 hours so you can figure out how you feel about it before getting inundated with feedback from others. But you might need days or weeks or even longer to feel solid enough in your idea to voice it out loud to someone else. When you are ready to share it, start with the safest people in your life. If you have a friend or family member, coworker, or even just an acquaintance who is slow to judgment and quick to offer support and encouragement, that's the person you want to go to first with your new idea. Keep in mind that often the people closest to you are not the safest people to share ideas with. It's not because they don't care about you. In fact, it's often because they love you so much and they're so intertwined with your life decisions that they can't be objective. They're much more likely to get emotionally triggered by your idea than a more casual acquaintance who isn't personally affected by your decisions. Side note, this is the whole point of coaching. It's supposed to be a safe, non-judgmental space for you to explore thoughts, ideas, and possibilities so you can figure out what you really want and start turning it into a reality. So wait to share your ideas with the most opinionated or highly reactive people in your life until your idea has reached bonfire status, when it's strong enough to withstand their reaction. An added benefit of waiting to tell these people is that by the time you're ready to share your idea with them, you're confident and optimistic enough that you'll present it in a way that's way less likely to trigger their negativity or criticism in the first place. So tell me, have you had the experience of sharing an idea too soon with the wrong people and having your candle flame burnt out? Leave a comment to share with me how this resonates with you.
I feel like it might be crazy, but in the original episode we did of this 2 years ago, it might have been a different episode, but I think probably in the intro or outro, I gave an analogy about this, which still sticks with me, about keeping new ideas to yourself, which is like, if you have a new idea, it's like having a little newborn baby, and it's like taking it to the mall and letting people sneeze on it.
Well, that's particularly relevant this year.
I know.
You wouldn't do that in the time of COVID.
No, you definitely wouldn't do that. So why would you take this new fledgling thing that doesn't have an immune system yet and then take it to a mall and let people sneeze on it? Don't do that. You got to protect it.
No. And I thought this one was particularly relevant to bring back right now because a lot of you are probably starting to think about goals or intentions or resolutions or whatever you want to call it for 2021. And I think a lot of times we'll have an idea like, I'm going to do this in 2021, or this is my goal, or this is what I'm going to achieve, and just go blurt it out all over the place. And the idea might get stomped on before you even get to January 1st.
You got real like stern stuff to have a new idea and go out and then just share it and then be like, haha, when everyone hates it or when no one gets it. If you're that kind of person, by all means, most people are understandably not that person.
And even that person might start to have some reservations if they keep getting bad, negative criticism.
Right. There's no reason. There's no upside to sharing it with a bunch of people who you can't trust to cheerlead you and encourage you. If you can genuinely trust someone to encourage you, then okay, maybe share it.
Right. Well, and that was
I have friends who, if I shared an idea with, I know for a fact they wouldn't naysay me. Doesn't matter how dumb it is. They would just be like, that's awesome. Like, and then they would keep asking me about it. Like, hey, are you doing that thing?
Well, that's why in the blog, I say, when you are ready to share it, go to those people first.
Maybe only.
But eventually you might need to tell if it's family or if it's people who are really close to you.
By the way, I'm quitting my job and starting my business, Mom.
Well, you might need to eventually share that. But wait until the idea is either more solid or you're actually doing it, or you've at least shared it with enough people that you've gotten some good feedback and you're like, okay, I've thought through this, whatever criticism they throw at me, I can withstand it and still move forward. That's when you go to the people who are going to be a little bit more challenging.
Okay. So
we're going to be back on Friday with a
interview with a normal person.
Yes.
Oh, my client. One of my clients, Anna, a current client, which is not very common to have someone who's still working with you. We're toward the end. She is a little teaser. She is a mom of 3 in her 30s who is a full-time working mom.
Ooh.
And somehow has found the time and the space in her life to rent a little studio space where she goes and paints multiple times a week and has done so for about 2 months straight without stopping.
Wow. Now, even with everything going on?
And her kids being in a little like homeschooling pod and working full time and everything. She is doing that. And she would have told you that was impossible a few months ago. So if you're like, how is she doing that? How do I make space in my life for things that I actually want to achieve and do? And I feel like I'm just saying I can't do it. That's not possible. You got to come listen to this. It's about making more space in your life when you don't believe it's possible.
Yeah. And honestly, for all of the parents right now in a time of COVID who
want some me time.
Yeah. This feels like I'm glad we're having someone talk about what this has been like this year.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
So come back on Friday for that. And then check out the episode notes for links to a little bit of one-on-one single session if you want one, short course for significantly discounted, or a little bundle action.
Yeah. Clarity in a time of COVID.
Okay, bye.